ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
And welcome back again to Casual Tuesday here at the Burbank Studios. Just chilling, hanging out.
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
T-shirts.
It was a it's been a long week after with the major taking place and trip back this morning. But either way, match is getting live. They are starting into the knife round, so we're gonna get that up on the screen for you guys as soon as possible. Like we said, in case you're just tuning in, it is gonna be NRG versus Renegades. Renegades very in the top 4 seeds here. I believe they're 4th seed, if I remember the standings correctly, and then NRG is a little bit lower, down at 6 and 6, but still very, very far away in terms of their win numbers. You mentioned it. Haven't played. I think they've played about 5 or 6 less games than Renegades and some of the teams in the top 4, but they have a lot of making up to do, and they really cannot afford to be dropping too many matches, if any at all.
Yeah. So with the potential for upset here, they're coming in, and the fact that Renegades has had a little bit of a shift in their player dynamic recently. Yam has actually dropped off quite a bit compared to his recent strength that we were seeing. In fact, looking at it more specifically, in the last 10 maps, Yam's stats, or apologies, in the last 10 maps you've seen him drop, but the last 11 maps you've seen him go below a 0.9 HLTV rating on 8 out of 11 matches, compared to him normally being around a 1.2 or higher, like being this huge carry for the team in certain situations. So if it does, some other guys step up and take that role for him.
He does have a very unique opping style as well, especially on the T side. He's one of those oppers that loves to get aggressive early in rounds and just take a, pretty much just take a pre-fire shot. Knows the angles very well for most choke points, and you'll see it specifically on train when he gets the op in his hand on the T side. But starting out into the pistol, Yam, speaking of which, is going to be the one who picks up the utility. He's got a smoke and a Molotov and a decoy. And those are the only nades, a couple of decoys on JKS and Azure, but those will be the only nades Renegades is bringing into this round. NRG on the other side, they just use one smoke, and it's going to be aggressive towards Ivy, so looking to grab some intel early on, but this is a disaster. It's a fast play towards the inner bomb site. Gabi has got to do huge work. He does have a teammate on the rotation. That's a nice shot. Can he get away safely? He just can't. He hides, but he sprouts so low. There he is falling. Legia is going to be the next one up.
Legia going to try and hide back in the corner, though, because he's still waiting for both Justin and Peter to get themselves into the site. Thankfully, they got that smoke outside of Z. It's going to give him safe passage back in. At the same time, Silent, he is trying to sneak his way through the back of the B site, and he's going to pick up his first kill. They're jumping down, grabs his second one on the JKS as well. He's doing a great job to make this re-entry work, but Ustilo opening up a flank as he pushes past the tanker there. Legia taking down another player, and they drop Ustilo as well. So a great retake at the hands of NRG, and they're going to pick up the pistol round.
All right, well, they're very, very fortunate. Silent hits a jumping shot with the P2000 coming on the flank. That push towards Ivy gets them information, gets them some map control, but they're so far away from the actual execution. It takes a while for them to get over there, and Silent essentially had to hit those 2 shots. Renegades is a good setup against that, but sometimes you just cannot, there's nothing you can do with this, really. That's a first bullet headshot from Silent right onto JKS midair. So we've seen a lot of jumping shots these past few days, a lot of jumping nightmares. Cold Zera comes to mind.
Yeah, shout out to Cold.
Thanks for ruining my life.
So, NRG get the good start here. Renegades, though, are going to respond by going for a Tech 9 bomb here on the second round. Going to try to force their way down ramp, but it doesn't start off so well. Gabi gets brought down very low, and Sponge will lead the charge, taking it down. They actually don't lose anyone else here, so NRG, they're going to be a man down, but Legia able to find that trade and pushes back in. Justin actually getting a touchdown kill there as he finishes off Sponge with an HE, and Legia finishing up another one, basically just holding himself off here, and he just cleans it up. But Renegades do manage to get a plant, unfortunately, without that many kills, though. I'm not really sure they can call this round a success, considering they did go for the full Tech 9 investment. Yeah,
they would have liked to have gotten 1 or 2 more, obviously. But yeah, once again, Legia just building up bank, coming in on that flank, and he's actually, he gets 1 kill, and then he just stays passive behind that smoke, so it works out perfectly because Renegades just chases him right through that smoke 1 by 1. We are going to get a quick pause in here as someone has dropped from the server. I believe that's Silent, who has vacated his position in the starting 5.
So we will get him back in here in just a moment, but that's sort of the big question mark here, too, as there's not a whole lot to talk about within these first couple of rounds, just as we talk hypotheticals here for NRG. In like all these matches, it seems to be a big question mark as to which player is going to show up, because we see the inconsistent stats coming in all the time between Justin, Legia, Silent, and even Peter to a certain degree. Gabi's pretty on and off, too, but he's not a very important stat factor when you consider the other 3.
Yeah, he is a little bit of, I mean, he's the endgame leader,
yeah.
So his impact is going to be mostly on how this team forms, how they play, and so far, I mean, it has a good start. We talked about it a little bit before we actually went live tonight, is that upset on Envy was really, really cool to watch, but then since we've seen that, the form that Envy's been in since, it's like, can we really call it super, I mean, it's a little bit unfair to say that it's not that impressive, but, you know, once we see this form of Envy, you know, dropping out of the major essentially in last place, kudos to you for cheering him on here with the t-shirt.
At least I was once a champion.
All right, there we are. But yeah, so since that form that we've seen them in is a little bit interesting. How we kind of perceive that upset victory over in Counterpit.
Yeah, because it basically happens as the downward spiral of Envy just comes to a big conclusion there at the major, going from winning it back at Cluj to dropping out last place. So,
yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
But either way, there is a little bit of inconsistency. The big thing too, as well, with that upset that we mentioned, Peter wasn't playing in it, so we're gonna have to see how that is going to how he is going to be fitting into this lineup as they move forward. How much success can they have with him in it? Because I know they're very hyped and they all feel very, very good. I've talked to Silent a little bit about this team as they've had more time together, and he really, really likes what Gabi's bringing to the table in terms of leadership. Very excited to see where it can take him, but they have a tall task here in the middle portion of the season.
And of course, the player that filled in for them back there was Tapsin, who actually had a really, really big impact for them. But ever since then, of course, Justin also did amazingly well in that game, and at that LAN in general, too, for these guys. And overall, since coming back from that, the past 5 or 6 maps for Justin have looked absolutely amazing. He's been the top fragger for his team. And in general, when it just comes to overall impact kills, he's definitely been the big guy. But if you look at like his general matches going back and forth, he often has these big upward and downward slumps where for 5 or 6 maps, he'll do amazingly. He'll always be at the top of his team. And then the next 3 or 4 after that, he's just going to be absolutely rock bottom on the stats. So a very inconsistent player. Like I said, he's on one of those upward swings right now, but the Pro League's been on a break for almost 2 weeks now, so we don't really know which Justin's going to show up to the table tonight.
Yeah, so I mean, we have talked a little bit about. I want to go back towards. We had that standings up earlier, but I do want to talk about, because it is very interesting to see. Before the major occurred, you know, we had Liquid, we had CLG, both of them looking rather weak in Pro League, especially leading up to the major, and then they both obviously make it out of groups, and you can see them here in the standings. I mean, CLG's all the way down at 10. I'm pretty sure they're actually like statistically eliminated from possibly making the top 4 and going to the finals. Team Liquid, they're at 6 and 6. They're the same as NRG. They're that kind of situation where, yeah, I don't think they're, you know, they have a very small chance of making it, but they essentially have to win out and hope and pray that some of those teams in the top 4, you know, and then Optic there in the 5th, drop some matches, drop the ball a little bit to allow them to make that comeback. But you can see what we mentioned. They both played about 12 games. Luminosity's 4 ahead of them at, you know, at 16. Same with Cloud9. Selfless has played 18 games. So there are some games that they can catch up on. They haven't had as much activity here in Pro League so far just yet. But either way, dire situation where both of these teams, everyone from Winter Fox, Team Liquid, NRG, those 3 teams all have a chance still, but they have to win out.
Yep, and there's basically dire straits from that point forward. The bigger story, of course, of a new team that sort of popped up in the top 4 this season that maybe some people weren't expecting was Selfless, who really sort of bumped up there all of a sudden, and they're actually still in really good contention to remain in the top 4, assuming their matches still go the way that they have been over these past couple of weeks now. Yeah,
they've looked good with their new acquisitions. It's what, Nifty and Mitch, I believe, are the 2, and they're from, I believe they're from Call of Duty, actually. They're Call of Duty players that transfer over. At least one of them is. That's what I've heard. But shout out to Ryu, who was at the major. We saw a little bit. He's been at a couple events recently. The owner of that organization that he started up himself, essentially.
Sort of like an NA Astralis now.
Yeah, in a way, for sure. And he's also the coach of the team as well. So doing good so far. They are very much the surprise of the team. Optic, however, 5th place right now, as we saw in those standings. I believe they were 1st or 2nd for some time throughout the season, and they've just recently dropped a few matches, so they've actually fallen out of that top 4 spot. So that's a little bit unfortunate for them. But we did get Silent back in the server, and we are getting the pause has been canceled. We are getting back into the live action here, and it is 2-0 for NRG.
Yep, and NRG getting those rifle upgrades going now on both Legia and Silent. Still sticking with the SMGs on quite a few more than though, because with Renegades focusing up in that previous round, not really going to be too keen on trying to attempt for the 3rd round buy-up, despite getting the plants in both of these. However, very quick attempt to execute over here towards the outside yard, not going so well. Legia holding off a 2-for-1 there before Sponge finally does trade it back, but really not making a whole lot of progress on taking control of the actual site. They're just getting ripped apart this time, and Sponge, the last one alive, he's only got 2 HP to work with, so not a whole lot he's going to do, and it's going to be an easy 3rd round for NRG.
Yeah, now it's going to be that buy round. Renegades, they have gotten a couple plants, so they should have decent money. You can see Yam going straight for the AWP. no armor on him, so like I mentioned, his style of, especially on this map, we see it frequently, likes to get aggressive and choke points early on in these rounds, not afraid to take those shots, but you know, that's where you're most susceptible to nades raining in and doing some early damage. So he's got to be very careful about how he approaches the start to this round. Either way, outside of that AWP, it's 4 AK-47s, and Yam is going to go for that shot, it looks like.
Fortunately, he's going to get flashed, so forced away from it, but still trying to peek up and see if anybody's taking the chance on going to check the trains. Not the case, though, and it's mainly just going to be Legia moving up to the position he was at in that last round, too, over here by E-Box. Oh, my goodness, just goes for the peek inside a T-connector and pops away Yam. So already the opera for Renegades going down. Justin trying to get aggressive outside of Ivy, too, but he's not going to find anything there. JKS was holding the side, so wasn't really going to be too much of a chance for him to spot it. And so far, NRG holding good control of pretty much the entire map.
Yeah, no need for them to get too aggressive from here on out. They have that man advantage. Legia, that was a well-timed play because the Molotov was blocking Azarov from returning that kill, but there is a time limit on that. Legia also anticipating that smoke fading away and finds a second kill in the round. Still no response or movement from Renegades. 2 members out towards Ivy. You still has now dropped down into ladder room, but it's going to be all on Sponge. Oh, actually, he's going to open things up. So Legia does fall after his 2 kills, but it's still a 3-on-4 situation. Although 3-on-3, NRG getting a little overexcited, peeking into a couple kills.
They're not going to take advantage of actually moving into Ivy, though, after they find that kill. They fall back, and it looks like they're going to re-maneuver themselves over here towards the T-connector now. Still taking it very slow. This has given NRG the time to rotate some more assets into the A-bomb site. So Peter's here to assist Silent now, but even NRG themselves, or Renegades rather, still trying to figure out where they want to take this, and they decide on a B hit instead. Now moving through the White Halls, but Gabi is going to get aggressive. He's pushed all the way up through upper now. He's waiting for Steelo or someone else to try and push in his direction.
Yeah, it's going to be all down to this timing, and if they don't clear this out, Gabi can actually just flat out win this round by killing the planter. Everyone's going to start committing smoke down lower ramp flashes as well. Gabi is comfortable. He has not been cleared out, and this is where it is. This is where he's going to punish him. They run up to plant the bomb. Free kill for Gabi. Huge play. 8 seconds left on the clock. That failed flash isn't even going to matter as he just peeks out past the Molotov. That's an easy round for NRG.
And the worst part about that, too, is if Renegades had actually moved into Ivy after they found this kill over here, they probably would have taken easy control of that A-bomb site. There was really nobody paying attention to that site, and they were just started to rotate Peter in from the B-bomb site. So they actually have the perfect situation to take outside, but they don't utilize it at all, and they basically throw the round away, which gives NRG the 4-0 start.
Yeah, so Renegades once again buying up a little bit of upgrades here. A couple Deagles, a couple Tech 9s, P250 on Yam, but meanwhile, NRG, they have all the utility they can need. They've got Molotovs, they've got nades and smokes. And there's none of that on the Renegade side, so a lot is going to be on these Deagles to get an opening pick to allow space for the Tech 9s to work. But there's Peter and Justin with 2 opening kills. The rest of Renegades is lagging behind. They're in box halls right now, but they're just going to run down this ramp into their slaughter. Gabi close up the AK-47, gets a first kill. Just going to keep spraying, just pre-firing the angle. He does get dropped eventually, but there shouldn't be any risk of a plant going down. JKS is going to be stuck away from that Molotov, preventing anything. Nice flashbang at least blinds Peter, but Legia cleans it up before any damage can be dealt.
Very sloppy attempt to take a big reliance on that player that was pushing over there towards upper, having an actual impact and finding his way out, but they just get completely ripped to shreds in the final 3 without really any sort of attempt to do anything. They just push themselves down ramp, and it's the same story again that we saw at the beginning of the round.
Yeah, and once again back on the AWP. Peter has his as well, and there's a decent amount of money built up on this NRG side. Plenty of economy built up so that they can sustain some losses. They have all the utility they're going to possibly need. Sponge throwing some utility out the middle choke point. Gabi trying to push up in box halls behind the smoke, getting spammed down to 21, and he's found out. Azar and Ustilo combined to take him down. That's going to force a rotation of Legia, and all the meanwhile, Sponge has found a really nice position outside.
And now Sponge just going to hold that now, waiting to see for them to push forward. He does find Justin, but unable to actually take him down. Only brings him down to 46 HP. However, the rest of Renegades now positioned outside of that B-bomb site. They're ready to execute, but they're still not moving in on it, despite the fact there's 3 players hanging out on A here, and Sponge is still fighting him. Justin's finally going to be able to take him down, and still no execute into that inner bomb site as of yet. Legia is going to see it coming now as the smoke start to pile out, and Peter rather is going to start to rotate in, but it's all on Legia sitting up on top of the bomb train. Pops one away, going to drop down. Doesn't realize there's a player sitting directly behind him, but I don't think he notices it either. Legia pushes forward, finds another pickup. Peter in the meantime is shut down Azza, and now it's just Yam left alive after he finds the trade onto Peter.
This is a tough situation to be in. 1-on-2, no nades to use, come down the lower ramp. I don't believe he spotted Justin making the rotation, but Molotov is going to come out. He's got 45 seconds to work on, so he can be a little bit patient. Got to try and find some one-on-ones, but Legia, his movement on that bomb train, somehow Yam doesn't peek that upper ramp, so he can't trade the kill off. Legia was out in the wide open, so here, much more difficult now for Yam to manage with this AWP.
Yeah, sneaking forward now. Going to find a nice shot into Legia, jumping out, hoping to find Justin in the open. Not the case, but he is going to peek, and there we go. Justin gets the headshot, shuts him down. And NRG continue forward now with a perfect record, 6-0 so far. But nicely done here by Legia, finding that pop-up on the bomb frame. Big mistake, too. Whoever was pushing that short alley there didn't even realize that he was there. He was taken out by Peter, and Legia just mops it up from that point forward. Great positioning, a great play from him on the CT side.
Yeah, and that's going to be another heartbreak for Renegades. They had that round. They had the picks they needed. They found a great execution out of a solo defender into that bomb site and still can't make do with it. And with no plant, they are just going to be forced. They have the full losing bonus, but they don't have money to really get the AK-47. So it is that situation where it's a bit of a half-buy. Tech 9 armor, pistols. They have plenty of utility to work with, so they need to get a plant here. But Gabi's already done heavy damage to JKS. He's also fallen back towards the inner bomb site. 4 members there for Renegades, and you can see 2 members now for NRG have rotated over to block this, including the AWP of Peter.
Of course, they're all just hanging back, still sticking to that very slow style of play. Sponge is going to go for the execute onto the outside arm once again, but the B hit goes in. Sponge finds the first pickup there, able to take down Legia hiding behind E-Box, but there's a bit of a dance going on in the inner site there. Stilo finding another pickup there by burning Gabi. Justin finally responds with his own, but they're taking good control of this inside site, and the CTs are going to have to hold back a little bit as the bomb goes down, but Peter wrapping around, picks up a kill. Justin, though, also fragging out here, too, as he finds both Yam and JKS, and again, the tables have turned, and it's just down to Stilo, and he's only got a Tech 9 from upper to work with.
Yeah, no Molotov as well to put on the bomb, and there it is. Justin's going to clean it out. Huge round from him on the rotation. 4 kills. Very sloppy initial defense from Gabi and Peter in that inner bomb site. Renegades is almost able to take advantage of it. It just comes down to that superior firepower that Justin had. He's even going to pick up the ult, and they're going to make sure they can maintain that double off setup. Look at Peter really, really struggling here to force Ozzer back. He does eventually get the kill with the no-scope, but he's so exposed that he's got no chance to survive past that kill. So 7-0 for NRG. This is not looking great for Renegades so far early on. Renegades,
though, are going to be able to segue this into another buy round for themselves. Full utility buy-up. Yam's even got armor behind his op, so no more excuses for these guys. They've got everything they could possibly need. NRG, though, has built up quite a decent economy on quite a few of their players. It's not necessarily perfect just as of yet, but unfortunately, with some of these shutdowns happening, it's been quite fruitful set of rounds for the guys on NRG. However, Yam finds this great first shot to take down that player that was sitting over there inside of Z entrance, but it's immediately traded 2 more back from the guys on NRG. As both Peter and Legia pick up a kill, and then Justin finding another one right there. Yam still stuck inside of T-Connector. Does have Azza helping him out there by getting a kill inside of the ladder room, but now he's out and he's on such low HP, and it's just the final 2, and oh no, Yam takes the shot onto Azza. A bit of a miscommunication there, shuts him down, and Peter finishes it off by shutting down Yam.
Yeah, this is a situation. Renegades is one of those teams that we've talked to. Yeah, and here it is, the pause. I was just about to say, it's one of those teams that, having talked to Sponge in the past, they have a set rule. When they go down like 6 or 7-0, they just call a pause flat out, no matter what they feel like. If they're getting outshot, tactic-wise, if they're losing the match, just whatever reason it is, when they get down by that much, it's an automatic call for a pause, and they need it now. That last round as well just looks so discombobulated from them. I mean, Yam with a TK, so NRG with an 8-0 lead now.
It's just entirely sloppy right now. It just seems like there's no organization going on for Renegades. There's not much else to say beyond that. We've just been seeing these guys. They're slow executions. They get advantages that they don't even realize they have these advantages, and then they just hold back. They don't try to push or take advantage of anything. They continue this slow play. We had that one specific round where they got control of Ivy along with T-Connector, and there was only one person defending the outside site, but instead they decided to fall back and rotate into B. That gave the guys on NRG time to just rotate in there and completely hold that with only 20 seconds left on the clock at the time of entry. Gabi was sitting on upper, didn't even really have to do anything, just sat back, waited for the planter to come in, shut him down, and the round was over. We've seen so many rounds like that, and unfortunately Renegades has not been able to put one on the board as of yet.
Yeah, they've been beat up in a lot of different aspects of the game so far. Be sure, guys, as you tune in, if you want to follow along, if you want to get involved in the action, feel free to tweet at us. It's what, hashtag ESL Pro League, and then also if you want to follow in with the stats, if you want to keep track of the schedule throughout the season, again, make sure you're downloading the app, the Score Esports app. You can get that from the Google Play Store or the App Store through Apple for your iPhone and your iPads. But yeah, a big mountain for Renegades to climb here, down 0-8. Not looking good. There's plenty of money built up on the NRG side as well. I mean, they have so much that they can sustain through at this point. So it's going to have to be a big shift in the mindset of Renegades, because it is that kind of aggression. And the train is actually a map that, we've talked a little bit about Yam on this map specifically because he had that big opening game in the season earlier on. But usually they are a much better train team, because this is a squad that Sponge has had utilizing nades very well, utilizing their utility in a good way that can help them clear out positions, and we're just not seeing it here tonight. So coming out a little bit flat off the extended break in Pro League, and NRG's really taking this one to them.
And a big player that started off here in the first couple of rounds was Legia. He's dropped off a little bit, but Justin's kind of taken his place. Legia with those aggressive pushes. There's, again, specifically one round that comes to mind where he was pushing up to E-Box, just peeked right out T-Connector, obliterated Yam, and then found another one inside of the ladder room as well. We've just been seeing these aggressive plays, and they haven't been punished at all. They've just been allowed to do it. They find a kill or two in the case of Legia, and they immediately just fall back in hold positions. There's literally zero retaliation coming out from anybody on Renegades at this point. They just seem scared to do anything.
Well, part of it, too, is you look at the players you think are like the heavy hitters of Renegades. You know, it's JKS, it's Azur. Those are the two big ones. Yam also in there with that AWP. All three of those players have 2 kills right now. 6 combined. 8 rounds in, that's just not enough production out of the players that you expect to be the stars of Renegades. So they've got to come alive a little bit here because they've had opportunities, as you've mentioned, to strategically exploit the map. You know, they find some opening picks and just not able to kind of take advantage of what they're given. So going to be a little bit interesting to see what adjustments they make. Yam is going to be back in the AWP. We are still in this pause time, but you can see they're talking things over, figuring out what they want to buy and how they want to play this round out. And just as I say that, pause time has been canceled, so we are going to get back into the game and bring you the remaining action. It is 8-0 for NRG. 7 rounds left in this half.
We'll be getting into it once more. It's another buy round from the Renegades, of course. Everybody's going to have AKs, and along with that op, as Moses mentioned before, sitting on Yam, so not really missing anything, but NRG still being given chances time after time again to build up their own CT economy, and they're going to start to hold back even more so again now. Yam actually not even going inside of T-Connector this time, just jumping up, watching for an Ivy push, and we'll see if he can grab anyone from there, and he might get the chance to do so too, but unfortunately he's moved away from it now, as Justin is sitting pretty aggressively pushed up there on Ivy at the moment, sitting behind that PC.
Yeah, Renegade seems very nervous about aggression across the map, very spread out. JKS.
I don't even think they noticed that he got himself behind the dumpster right now, so Justin's a perfect position. If JKS or Sponge pushes down the alleyway here, then they're going to be dead meat. So they peek out now, and Justin's just hiding, so this could be a perfect trap being set up by Justin right now.
Yeah, but when does he decide to peek out? There's a long way for JKS to fall back, and he just now gets under cover. So all this information is being gathered by Justin. He's saying, there's nothing Ivy, guys. Don't worry about it so much, because you can see in the mini-map, no one on the NRG defense is even paying attention to that aside from him. They've all rotated back towards the bomb train. Peter is very, very close up, but they'll be able to have a quick rotate towards the inner bomb site if they feel pressure there. Molotovs and smoke still out in the choke point. That's slowing Renegades down. They still haven't made much of a presence anywhere on the map as they all kind of reconvene over towards this B bomb site. Sponge is the only one who's far behind. Perhaps a lurk position, watch the flank once this execution comes in, but it's going to have good initial success, and he's just going to try and throw a little bit of a fake outside, but Peter is aggressive close up, so he knows there's nothing coming. This might just be a free kill. Oh, and it does the damage through the corner of the train. Sponge down to 45, but the real hit is towards the inner bomb site.
Gabi's going to spot it coming. Plays it safe, though, decides to fall back, and now is going to rely on some insistence from Silent, who's watching upward at this point in time. Gabi, though, peeking out, manages to catch Yam, and Gabi does the same thing. There's a molly on the floor, so it does distract Gabi, and Azur finally able to catch the trade now to shut down Gabi. Still no bomb going on the floors of yet, and Azur, though, it's still going to find another frag. Almost a great shot for Peter. Manages to leg one of the remaining players from the Renegades. Silent finishing off Azur. And now they've just got to find these final two. You steal it. Hiding around the bomb train at this point, bringing him down. They do molly him down even lower to the 13. Now he's out in the open, and Peter again just barely missing the connection, makes up for it by bringing Sponge down to 30 HP. They know exactly where he is. Doesn't even have a molly to hold this up. They're going to push him, but Sponge still holding off greatly for the time being, picking up 1 kill, peeking out, trying to grab that second one, but Peter absolutely denies him, shuts him down, and that's another round going up on the board now for the guys on NRG.
Yeah, and even if Peter misses that shot, Justin had gotten off the bomb and turned away. Even salvages the double op setup. Just too much time on that bomb timer left for Sponge to really have a chance at clutching that one out. So a 9th round for NRG, but again, losing bonus plant. Renegades can get essentially a full buy. There's no op on Yam, but there are 5 AKs, full armor as well, plenty of utility to use, 5 smokes, 4 Molotovs. They've got all the tools they need. They just still have not found a way to utilize them to give themselves an advantage, or to really just even get around on the board.
NRG going pretty aggressively once again here. Peter pushing the back of the B bomb site, as has Gabi, moving his way up through ramp instead. And Legia back to that aggressive position, even going past E-Box this time to just check directly inside of the ladder room. Gonna smoke it off nice and close and just hide inside, see if he can catch anybody dropping down with that angle. May not be exactly perfect, so he's gonna have to be careful with that. But Justin made that aggressive push. This time, though, he's met with a battle, and it does not go so well as JKS takes him down, and that does open up Ivy just a little bit here. However, they'll still have to get past Silent if they want to use it to get into the actual A bomb site.
That's the exact kind of aggression that Renegades is looking to punish with this kind of default spread out, very, very passive setup on the T side. Just hoping that someone's going to push right into it, and JKS obliges. Silent going to look for the equalizer. Pop flash comes out. Silent doesn't take the shot, but Sponge, I believe, should have seen him at the corner. Both AWPs are here out towards Ivy. No one at the inner bomb site at the moment. They've completely rotated off it. They think this is going to be an outer hit, but the bomb is working its way inside right through the Molotov. Sponge gets taken out by Silent. He sees no one else. When does NRG rotate back towards the inner bomb site? Because Renegades, they have an open site here. As soon as they decide to take it, they're going to get a free plant.
JKS still trying to push through Ivy as well just to keep the distraction alive. But again, Renegades, where's their execution? They still have not decided to hit this inner bomb site. They're just now doing it as they toss the grenades out. But Gabi's in here. Smoke start to roll out. Gabi might have himself a battle with Ustilo in just a moment here. Spots him over on upper, but the aim not going to be all as on point at first. Does manage to make up for it, but also he's going to be a bit careful because Azar potentially is going to be flanking him in a moment. However, it's still just an absolute shutdown. Renegades can't seem to pick up anybody here. Finally, Azar gets an angle advantage, but it's immediately punished by Legia, who takes out Yam right after that. And Peter has already found the last man alive, and it's going to be Silent that shuts him down. NRG with another very quick retake, find themselves in double digits here.
Yeah, the manpower of Renegades spread out across the map. 2 members towards Ivy with 3 towards inner. That leaves a gaping hole for that flank to work perfectly. Legia just coming up ladder. He's got 14 and 6. Justin is 14 and 2. And still, Renegades unable to put a round on the board. Another plant, but no AWP for Yam. Now this is just a really dire situation. They've got 5 rounds left in this half to put something on the board, and they need everything they can get.
So we'll take a look if the setup's going to be any different this time from the Renegades. And it actually looks like, as we take a look at things now, it's going to be extremely quick to get themselves outside of the A-bomb site, seeing if they can take it from there. But there's also 4 players aligned here from NRG. 1-for-1 trade to start it off with Ustilo and Silent, both picking up kills from either team. Aza, again, really need a charge for his team now, is actually get themselves closer towards E-box. But Legia responds to this one, too. Picking up a second one as he holds the Alamo back over here at the bomb trade, finding a third and a fourth. Legia shuts it down, punishes Renegades, and still keeps his team flawless in this matchup.
All right, Legia can do no wrong in this matchup. What a ridiculous hold from him at that bomb train. That's some incredible stuff. That last kill, the transfer of the spray, that's beautifully done. And Renegades, this time they get stopped from even, planting the bomb. So you can see, now they just can't afford to save anymore. They have to get rounds on the board. So that's why they have these 2 Tech 9s, just so they can get the utility behind it, because they need something. 2 AKs as well, a Galil on JKS. But everywhere that Renegades has gone, they've been entirely shut out of this map so far. Peter misses the opening shot. He does manage to fall away. Renegades are content to just push him away with no pressure following it up. Yam's going to work his way out. At a decent position. It's all about timing of when he decides to get more aggressive.
So fairly spread out for now, but as you've noticed before, Yam is definitely going to be the player in the clutch position, and Gabi watching out for that ramp push if there is to be one. However, with Renegades having a little bit of a rocky start to this one, probably going to be going back to that very slow style of play, very indecisive about how they actually make their execute. Legia again going for the pop flash check inside of the ladder room, but not going to be able to find anything in there just as of yet. Guys in the Renegades can hear all the noise being made down here, but I doubt any of them are going to move in to take advantage of it. Actually, Legia almost finding himself a good angle against Sponge. You can see him rolling down, and there we go. It's a free peek. Legia gets a kill essentially for free as he takes down Sponge, and they'll already start this round off with a man advantage in their favor. However, Yam has not been noticed as of yet, and he's about to get a free kill as well over here onto Silent.
Yeah, it does take a little bit longer, so they know where he is now, and he's going to try and get that AWP, but Justin just turns around, bodies him out. Legia with 1 more, and Justin's still in great position to stop them from coming towards this outer train yard. So now Renegades, 35 seconds left on the clock. Oh, Ustilo stops short of running through that smoke, waiting for his teammate, but now he comes through. They're going to be prepared for Gabi. They're not, but Ustilo wins the battle anyways. He's down towards 12. The bomb is being planted. He's trying to retreat and fall away. There's plenty of utility on the CT side. The nade does good damage. Azur down to 40 HP. Another nade comes out, but he's already made his way out. So both members are going to be stuck in box halls in a 2-on-2.
And they just got Molly through upper as well, so they can't push that back out, especially Ustilo at this point. So Peter is going to jump on it, and they're going to try to rotate back out to stop this from happening, but there's no way they can re-enter the site. So they just grab the defuse, and as it tries to peek back out to take a little bit of a deal, they're hoping you can find a lucky headshot at the very least on the diffuser, but it's not the case. And NRG again just shut things down on the retake.
Yeah, those mollies, there's just so much utility for them to use, and those mollies hold them back. So much damage is dealt to these 2 players. You're still down at 12. The nade of Azur down to 40. Even if they do run through that fire, they just die, and the defuse goes out anyway. So really nicely done from NRG. Good communication in that 2-on-2 to get the defuse. And this is now just starting to get brutal. Plant goes down. Yam back on the EWP again for the first time in a long time, but he's got no armor, and he's still going against Silent and Peter, who haven't really, it's been a while since we've seen them have to rebuy one of these ops.
So Justin waiting for the peek from Ustilo. It does get baited out a little bit there, so Ustilo probably going to be a bit more cautious about it this time. However, the rest of Renegades, again, just holding back. They're ready to throw smokes into the outer site, but as well, they're trying to bait out the CTs to use some of theirs. However, and it gets tossed. They're not even going to execute in here. It looks like a lot of the players now moving over here through the White Halls, push themselves in. However, they do go, they execute mainly through ladder room here, and it's a 2-for-2 trade, so not the worst thing that could have possibly happened. Yam as well in the back of the B-bombs. They're going to try to make the push here. Great shot from Yam, grabbing Peter. Still a little bit of smoke to look through there, and they're going to start to rotate in, but Silent manages to catch Az. He's not really looking for players on the site itself, so that brings it right back into a 2v2, and the bomb is going to go down.
And Yam, that flashbang partially blinds him, but still an easy shot. Silent just swings out wide. Yam drops him, so Justin on the flank. He's the last one left in this 1-on-2, and Yam, it looks like he's aware that this is a possibility. He's watching for this angle, and he's going to grab the kill. 3 for him in the round. He wasn't touched a single time. 100 HP, he ends it. But still, that's just the first round for Renegades in this half so far. And that's a scary prospect to be looking at.
And that entire round victory basically comes off of Yam as well. He's the main player that makes that possible by pulling that off and also holding things once they actually get themselves into the bomb site. So he shuts it down quite nicely. But NRG, as we were talking about before, did have quite a decent economy, managing to build up themselves up too. Did get brought down quite a bit over the past couple of rounds because Renegades had been consistently getting planned. So there's actually not a whole lot left over after this rebuy, but nonetheless, they're still working with it. But at the same time, Renegades have gotten very quick control, at least partially, of the outside yard. Once again, Sponge pushing it. There's a great shot from Silent, though. Jumps right up, shuts down Sponge as he peeks back out into the short lane, and then Peter finds a second one. So right back into a pretty bad position for the Renegades, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, 5-on-3 situation. Still a couple smokes for NRG to utilize to run down this timer. There's a minute and 15 seconds left on the clock. And Renegades is going to have to figure out where they want to go. And look at all the control this gains. Peter with another pick off. Not able to be traded out. JKS is the last one here. Justin's going to get aggressive. Molotov comes out to force JKS back. Justin, if he gets aggressive behind this, I doubt JKS is going to be ready to expecting it whatsoever. So it could just be a heavy flank as JKS reconvenes towards Whitehall's to meet up with Ustillo. So their late round play here, it's pretty much all they have left at this point, is going towards the center bomb site, hoping they win both of these duels clean at the B bomb site and get the plant down.
And it's going to be Legia, who we've already seen the power of him in this half, and Godby as well. He's actually been pretty good at holding this ramp push. I've only seen him fail it 1 or 2 times, and he's very good about pacing himself. If he needs to fall back, he'll do so. The smoke comes in. Legia already going to be paced on that one, though, so very awkward struggle here for the Renegades as they hold themselves up. And there's Legia again, just moves right in and shuts it down with some good flash usage coming in from Godby to assist that one. Right back in the lead now. NRG 13-1, and this will reset Renegades' economy. The 4-step that we see here, not really going to be the best. It's mainly just Tech 9s and a couple Galils.
Yeah, and I mean, not too big of an issue getting reset this late, honestly. Like, I mean, there's only one round left, so it's not a huge issue in terms of long term, but they've already just been so defeated throughout this. I mean, they needed the second round to give themselves any kind of an opportunity. They only have 1 Galil, and Tech 9s and P250s, not a whole lot of nades also. They're using everything, essentially. Try to hit this outer bomb site very quickly, but the AWP of Silent is not going to be silenced as he takes down 2 very quickly over towards Ivy. Now Peter on the bomb train. Gains some space by Legia bailing him out, and he gets another kill. It's just down to Ozers trying to push it up into old hell, but it's just going to be 14-1 for NRG, a dominant first half.
And this is basically GG at this point, unless we see an absolutely miraculous comeback from the Renegades within this pistol round and within the general scope of the second half of your NRG. Obviously, they only need to win 2 rounds to close this one out, and that would be an absolute huge disappointment should we see that happen and Renegade just all of a sudden pull a complete 180 here and manage to come back there, considering how just dominant NRG have looked in that first half.
No, that was incredible. I mean, it didn't even seem like it was very much any kind of tactical. I mean, they outplayed him a couple times in some clutch situations in those 2-on-2s that we saw. But it was mostly just those ops from Silent and Peter. Once they got that double op setup rolling, you could really see Renegades didn't have many options that were you know, gaining them any kind of advantage in these rounds. So very, very clean first half from NRG on defense. Now onto offense. Winning this pistol would pretty much seal the deal. And aggressive towards Ivy again for Renegades. They get 1 kill, but now everyone else swings out. There's so many players here, though, for Renegades, and they mop everything up. Justin is the last one left so quickly. This triple push has decimated the attack. And once Justin brings it into a 1-on-2. Now he's got the USP and he spots Ozzer getting aggressive. There's 2 here. He gets a 4th, but JKS bails his team out of a tough situation. That was almost a miracle from Justin.
That double headshot was crazy. Hopefully we got that on replay right now. There it is.
Justin
Watch this.
Is the last one left so quickly. This triple push has decimated the attack. Justin.
That was insane. All right, so Justin almost brings that back from the brink. It basically ends the game right there. However, Renegades do piece it together, and they win the pistol round, of course, in the second half. So they do have a very small chance of getting themselves back into this game. NRG, of course, with the huge cushion, plus 12 rounds at this point that they have. They're not really going to risk anything. They do manage to bring an AK into the fold here, but it's only going to be tossed onto Legia. And he already has lost it, unfortunately. So the big sort of risky investment they tried to go for here is not going to pay off too much.
Oh, yeah, but there's a nice shot. Sponge does fall at range. Yam is still here with a nade. Going to do a little bit of dash. There's a lot of damage to Justin and Gabi. Renegades is trying to get out of there.
Oh.
And there's a TK, so that's going to help. That's going to help Renegades out. Very sloppy in these first couple of rounds for NRG. A little bit curious that AK-47 was the lone man right above ladder. Seemed like he was lining up a smoke, and Renegades just had to rush in her. And this is the thing now. NRG's gonna have to be careful going into the gun rounds because Renegades knows that essentially for this whole half, their back is against the wall. So they're gonna have to come out with some crazy plays like that. They're gonna have to do things that aren't expected to kind of catch NRG off guard if they want to have any chance of making this a comeback.
And they're basically just posting themselves up right now, making sure that nobody else from the Renegades is going to try to push into them. Still 3 stacked together here. They've managed to recover that AK, and now sits in Peter's hands. But where do they take it from here is going to be the big question. Silent mainly just watching out for flanks at this point. Still in very close quarters, so going to be using the SMG there. And beyond this, Justin, who is carrying the bomb, might be the first man in, but they actually fall back, and I think they're going to decide to do a little bit of a split here to try and execute to the outer yard. Going down ladder room now, you've got Peter and Justin moving in, and Silent's heading in through T-connector to try and re-execute out here. There's actually not a whole lot of defense immediately outside, and there's Peter doing some work with the AK, shuts down Ustilo, trying to find a second one is going to be Justin that peeks out with 10 HP, I should mention, that picks up another kill, and then Peter finds Yam. So nicely played. They brought it into a 1-on-3, and it falls to JKS to try and clutch this out, but he has no control of the site. Stuck down in a 1v3, there's going to overwhelm. Justin finds that final kill. Justin finding 2 out of 3 of his kills with just 10 HP, we should mention, by the way. And now that puts NRG on match point.
Okay, and that's just like the Renegades just collapses in that round. That just falls apart for them so quickly. One nice shot from Peter, and that opens up the whole bomb site. Like you said, Justin with a nice shot with only 10 HP as well. But hey, Renegades should have had way more staunch of a defense against that kind of a play. Especially with opening up the round the way they did. They ruined everything that NRG wanted to do initially, and it was just a nice adjustment in the mid-round. So good calling here, but now 15-2. 3 AK-47s on the board for NRG. Only pistols for Renegades. They're going to have to come up with something miraculous. Choke points initially smoked off. Ustilo takes a little bit of damage. But NRG's, these past couple rounds, pistol round, second round, they've seen Renegades get highly aggressive. Triple push into Ivy on pistol, triple push into inner on the second round. So now they know they're just watching for any similar kind of play.
And they're just trying to take full advantage of that now, as we can see, just holding back, very passive style. Ustilo, Azur, JKS, Yam, all of these guys in very, very forward positions. Sponge is the only one that's sitting in a normal CT hold, which is back over here just outside of Ivy in the halls. But he's going to have to make a bit of a duel versus Silent there, too. Using only a deagle to do that, so we'll see how lucky he can get with some of these deagle shots. He's managed to connect one, bringing him down to 32 HP, but not enough to completely eliminate him. And Silent's really just toying with him at this point. But there's Legia finding the first pickup now, and Justin trying to wrap around. Very slow reaction from Ustilo. He does spot his shoulder there, so he'll take him down. And Justin leads the charge once more, coming outside of that T-connector, finding a second pickup onto Sponge. It's just JKS and Yam. There's not a whole lot of hope. JKS did line up a flank, but he gave himself away a little bit early here. There's nothing he can do. He's completely overwhelmed. 3 players looking in his direction. Yam trying to move himself in. They haven't spotted him just as of yet, but with still 5 players left alive, it's a very, very low chance that he's actually going to be able to try and stop this here. Sneaking his way in, finds one. Now they know where he is, and he's a dead man. And that's going to be it, guys. 16-2 is the score of this first map here tonight between NRG and the guys on the Renegades.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I did not expect that whatsoever in this matchup. That was really nicely done from NRG, and a very surprisingly weak performance from Renegades.
I mean, like, overall, if we're just being completely honest, like, Renegades was completely lost for that entire T side, and we, obviously, with 14-2, there was just no chance for recovery on the second half.
Yeah, this is that. I mean, this is where you could kind of see what was going to happen almost. I mean, we didn't know it at the time, but some real foreshadowing there, just getting a jumping headshot immediately on the pistol round. This is that round where Legia is able to get away somehow in this situation. Peter with a timely kill there, but just so much damage dealt. There were so many situations early on in the first 8 or 9 rounds of this half where Renegades actually had a great opportunity to win some of these, but just nice recovery. There's a good team kill and helping NRG out. But this was all NRG. No, I mean, all the good kills, all the crazy highlights, all those situations are won. This was sick. This spray transfer right at the end. Legia, he had one hell of a game.
That's the big question always with NRG, is which of these players are going to show up and how strong is that going to be the case. And with Legia, at least tonight, it seems he's throwing up in a very strong way. And as he got into that second half here, here's that crazy double shot from Justin. Pop,
yeah,
pop.
That was really, really sick. So all around, just everyone from NRG doing a very, very good job. Now, this is a doubleheader, so Renegades has a chance for revenge in the next matchup. But they're going to have to really take a quick break, center themselves, figure something out. Just say, all right, guys, calm down, wipe it from the memories, come back in. It's going to be hard, though. 16-2, that was a pretty heavy beatdown, one of the widest margins we've seen recently in Pro League, at least. So we are going to take a quick break, as will the teams, and then when we get back, we will have that second map in the doubleheader for you. So don't go anywhere and stay tuned.